Taoiseach, the Leaving Cert should be scrapped. It was never a fair exam. It always discriminated against those with special needs, those from disadvantaged areas, and all of that has been compounded and made worse in the teeth of a pandemic. So will you not now take the bold step which could get us out of this mess and say everybody should be able to study the higher or further education course or apprenticeship of their choice? Imagine that people got to study in third level the thing they wanted to study. And it would make even more sense when we have chronic shortages of psychologists, of doctors, of nurses, of construction workers, you name it, we have skills shortages. But yet we want to maintain a stressful gatekeeping exercise which makes it more difficult for our young people to advance.
Thank you, Deputy Parliament.
In terms of the broader issue around the Leaving Certificate, things are not going back to normal, Deputy O'Riordan. Just want to make that point, in the sense that this exam is not the exam that would be similarly put together in 2019 or 2018, insofar as about 1/3 of the content has been cut back. The Minister did listen to the students. No one has come up with any alternative on the accredited grades. And the fact that 25% didn't do the junior certificate and their data could not be used in an alternative accredited grade system is a very important point that just seems to be ignored in terms of any responses to it. Now, students wanted clarity and certainty. That has been given. Students wanted greater choice in terms of the exam papers and in the oral. That has been given quite substantially. And I went through some instances of that earlier in the debate in respect of the English paper, the maths paper, the biology paper, likewise in the art paper, accountancy and so on. There will be very significant additional choice given and the burden reduced. So it will not compare to 2019 or to 2018 because of the greater choice being given. And the other key issue that students were anxious about, that they wouldn't be disadvantaged in terms of grade inflation relative to the students of 2021. That also has been agreed by the Minister, and that will be the case via the marking scheme and via standardisation. The one area that the Minister couldn't respond was on the accredited grades, not because she didn't want to, but because it would not have been as fair as last year. It couldn't devise a system that would have been as fair as last year's system, principally because one could not use the data of about 25% of the students because they hadn't done the junior certificate. It's not about taking on the department. I don't believe the department is conservative on curriculum reform at all. And I believe there will be further reforms of the Leaving Certificate, and there should be. The one aspect of the Leaving Certificate, Deputy Boyd Barrett, that has endured is fairness, irrespective of background.
We're way over.
In terms of background, just in terms of access to higher level, it's not who you know in this country. And it's crude, I accept that. And it needs to be reformed. That's not because of the Leaving Certificate. And you know that. You know that. It goes back much earlier.
I'm sorry, that concludes.